Screenless. Emma Boucher, scriptwriter for live action and animated children's TV, self-confessed word nerd with a passion for making kids giggle. Welcome to Creative Cuppa.
Thanks for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. So, Emma, on a hot day like today, you must be glad you did your charity head shave for the Refuge charity.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you know what? I found that I usually swim and I haven't been able to do that at the moment because all the pools are shut. So I've been going out running more and not having any hair when I'm running. It's just a revelation. So you just feel like the wind just like over your head. It's so nice and not getting a sweaty neck. It's lovely.
Have you found you're speeding up or something?
Yeah,
more
aerodynamic. Yeah. No,
fantastic.
it's been great. It's funny, I haven't missed my hair at all, which has been quite strange. But then I guess I haven't been sort of going out and having to worry about dressing up and how I look or anything. It's just like the odd Zoom call. So
yeah, I always find that, it's a problem going out, what to do with the hair. So writing. You're a scriptwriter. When was it that you remember getting into writing? Were you always into writing as a child?
I was a total bookworm as a kid.
Oh, wow.
I used to write down all the books that I'd read during the year. And then if it was like, getting close to New Year's Eve and I'd read like 94 and I wanted to get up to 100, I would literally just sit there and read until I got to 100. I don't read anything like that these days because you just don't have the time. But yeah, and that sort of got me into writing stories. And when I did my undergraduate at Royal Holloway, we did a couple of screenwriting units, and I was like, oh, I really like this. This is great. And then after I finished uni, I kind of started working in TV as a runner, and then as a sort of dubbing and subtitling coordinator, and then in production. And then it kind of made me realise, actually, I want to go back and do the script writing. That's what I'm interested in. So I did a part-time master's in Bournemouth, which was just fantastic. I learnt so much, and it kind of gave me the confidence as well in my own writing. And then after that, I got chatting to someone at Turner, where I was working at the time, and he had an idea for a show that he wanted to put together, like a live-action storytelling show called Cartoonity Tales. And I feel like incredibly lucky, but he said, do you want to have a go at writing the pilot and see what happens? And then we got commissioned a series and a second series, and I wrote all the episodes, and it was just the most wonderful experience. And I'm so grateful to him for letting me do that. It's just fantastic.
That's quite unusual, isn't it, to be writing all the episodes as your first script writing job as well?
I know. In at the deep end. But no, not at all. He was so supportive, and we had such a great team, and it was just really fun. It was really great.
That's brilliant. So I suppose it was at that point that you realised, hang on a minute, I can make a living from this.
Yeah, well, I think I'd gone into the masters sort of hoping that I could make a living from it. But I think that was sort of the point where it kind of felt like, oh, actually, this is something real and tangible. And interestingly enough, when I went off to do the masters, I was thinking that I would be writing for adults, but that kind of pushed me towards children's, and I just love it. It just suits my personality, and I'm quite lucky that I had a really lovely childhood. My mum was a stay-at-home mum until I was about 14, 15, so she just was there all the time, and she was a big kid too. She'd be out roller skating with us and swimming in the sea and doing all the stuff that we would do. So there's lots of like happy memories that I can sort of go back and mine and write stories about.
Yes, I think it's a common thread, isn't it, through people who work in the creative industries, that they do love their job. And I think it's kind of tied with the success of your job. If you're really passionate about it, obviously it's going to show in your work. So I see on your website that you have some stats, and it mentions 19,703 cups of tea, 14 cute notebooks, and 84 blue pens. Is that your writing happy place? Tea, a cute notebook, and a blue pen?
Yeah, it has to be a blue pen. I get really funny about my pens, actually. My husband's a pen thief. If he's working from home, he'll like wander off with my pen, and I'll be like, you've got my pen, I have to use that specific pen.
Why blue?
I remember something as a kid when we were doing our exams, and a friend of mine told me that you should always write in blue because black makes the examiner feel like more angry. Yeah, and blue is more relaxing. And I think I've carried that on into adulthood.
I suppose if it helps you to write, then you can do whatever you want, can't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So My Pet Saurus is a show on CBBC about Chloe, an energetic 7-year-old looking after her troublesome pet Triceratops Topsy. You developed My Pet Saurus from animation studio Bumpy Box's initial concept to series. What does that process look like? Where do you start with something like that? So
Bumpy Box came to me with the idea of it being a live action world and an animated dinosaur. And they had kind of a rough sketch of Chloe as a character and some other characters as well. There was a mum and an uncle and some other kids. And I kind of went away and just developed the characters a little bit more. So gave them their voices. And strangely, I didn't realise this at the time, but when my mum watched Pet Saurus, she was like, Chloe sounds exactly like you did at that age. Like my mum watched it and she was like, oh my God, it's so weird.
You had a pet Triceratops?
I had a pet Triceratops. But I was a very spoilt child.
Any dinosaur you like.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we actually... Well, I wrote an 11-minute episode that had Chloe, her mum and her uncle in, and obviously Topsy. And we took that off to the BBC and they were really interested in it. Like they loved the concept. But Bumpy Box at the time were a really new animation company and they hadn't really proven themselves, I guess. So the BBC were really keen to work with them. And they said, well, how about we try it as 2-minuters? So just a really short kind of vignette, really focusing on, bath time, bedtime, things like that. So I went away and kind of reimagined it around that. And bath time was the first script that I wrote and they really liked it. And we got a commission from there. And it's just rolled on from there, really. When I wrote those first 10, I never imagined that we'd have 3 series and I'd be lead writer on series 3. It was, really great. Fantastic. Yeah, really great.
Wow, okay. You've written for many children's series like Messi Goes to Okido, Wussy Wat the Clumsy Cat, and Go Jetters. All slightly different. What do you feel makes a good story?
Definitely the characters. You've got to have characters that are relatable. And with kids as well, I think humour is so important. You want characters that can make you laugh. And just, I think as well, the relationships that those characters have and, the little fallings out that they have. And I think there's something quite lovely about children's TV in that generally you kind of get the kids to sort of solve their own problems and they might have someone to sort of push them in the right direction. But it's really lovely when you have an episode where the kid's trying to work it out and then they finally have that moment where they're like, oh, if we do it this way, then we can solve the problem. That was the lovely thing about Wussy Wat, actually. Wussy Wat is very clumsy and he's always making mistakes. And
what's that?
He's yeah, he's lovely. It's such a sweet little show. But it was almost kind of formulaic in a way. He would sort of make three mistakes and then the 4th time he would work it out. He'd get it right. But it was really nice, this kind of idea of like having a go. So I guess I like characters who have a go.
That's good. A running theme. So, where can people find you online if they would like to?
So I'm on Twitter. My handle's Boucher Emma. And I've got my website, which is emmaboucher.co.uk.
Fantastic. I'll pop those in the show notes. I'll put your Just Giving head shave link in the show notes as well.
That'd be awesome.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
But for now, Emma Boucher, thank you very much for joining me for a cuppa.
Thank you.